everybody. It is 5:30 in the morning. We had a very early start. This is our earliest start of the whole trip. We are leaving Zakopane today, which is a shame because today the sky decided to clear up and be beautiful. So anyone hiking today, good on you. So we're leaving Zakopane today. We are on a train today for 6 hours, 3 hours to Krakow, 2-hour layover at Krakow, where we're gonna try and find pierogies for the 5th millionth time, and then 3-hour train from Krakow to Warsaw, which is Poland's capital. And that's what today's vlog is all about, is our time in Warsaw. So, first stop, a 6 a.m. train, and we're a little tired. Okay, so we had a 2-hour layover in Krakow from Zakopane before we catch our train to Warsaw, and we tried 4 times to visit this vegan pierogi shop in Krakow while we were here the other day. Finally, we were here at the right time. They were open, it was available, so I did the walk. I walked from the train station to the pierogi place, and I got vegan pierogis! And look how good they are. Oh my lord. I'm just gonna eat one with my finger because I just want you to see on camera my reaction. Oh my god, they're hot. I cannot tell you how long we've been waiting to have vegan pierogis. We haven't had vegan pierogis or pierogis at all since the first day in Poznan. I have been waiting. We tried in Zakopane, it was shut. We tried 3 different restaurants in Krakow, they were all shut. I mean, I would say it's worth the wait, but I could have had these every day. We also got vegan strawberry ones. Just have a look at that. For pudding. I'm happy again. So all you need is pierogis. So we just got to Warsaw, which is the capital, and basically the hot tip for how to interrail or Eurail across a country, especially Poland, is that when you get to the train station, you should get your seats for the next train that you're leaving on then, because often the seats book out, which we experienced in Poznan. So go to the ticket counter when you arrive in the city to get your seats for when you're going to leave the city. So high-speed trains cost much more. They cost about 80 zloty in Poland to reserve. Normal trains cost 1 zloty, which is like 20 euro cents. So we've just booked our train for tomorrow for Gdansk, and now we're in Warsaw and we're gonna go find our Airbnb. So that was our Airbnb building behind us. Unfortunately, it was not clean. It hadn't been cleaned as far as we can tell. The floor was really gross, the kitchen was really gross, the sheets were not fresh. So we just kind of sat there for 5 minutes and used their Wi-Fi to book another Airbnb. I genuinely don't think we've had a single Airbnb that hasn't had some sort of problem. Anyway, the point is that we've just walked half an hour from the train station for more than 2 kilometers. And now we're leaving. And time is ticking. It's already past 4 o'clock and we have so much to do. And our train is out at 2 o'clock tomorrow. So we're gonna get to this Airbnb and we're gonna see Warsaw. But yeah, that was an epic fail. We've just taken a bus about 10 kilometers south of the city of Warsaw. We've come out to what is known as King Jan's Palace. It was originally built as a palace. It has changed hands many times over the history. It's been a residence of kings, but also just important Polish families. It's been taken over by the Swedes at one point. It's belonged to a lot of different people. But the most important part about this place is that it's one of the few places left in Warsaw that is pre-World War II. A lot of people come to Warsaw and imagine that it's all about World War II and the post-war communist era, which is a huge part of Warsaw, given that 85% of it or so was bombed out. So much of it is about that. But this is one of the few places left that did survive the war. It was looted during the war, but the structure survived, and it's an amazing place to visit to get a bit of pre-war history.
This menu is 100% plant-based.
Look how many options! We've already started, but we've got these calzone things, which are stuffed with tomatoes and tofu, which are absolutely unreal. This is a vegan version of a smoked salmon spinach dish with smoked carrot. We've got a bit of a salad, a bit of bread, a bit of dip. This is absolutely one of the best vegan meals we've had. It is so fresh and so good. We've just packed up to leave. We had one night here in Warsaw. For some reason the suitcase seems to get bigger every single day. But we've just packed up, and before we go I want to give a little tour of this apartment because it's really cute. And little like shelves, and look how cute this little kitchen is. No dishwasher, which is fine for an Airbnb, but the tiling's really cute, and there's this little table here. And then here it goes into a separate bedroom, which actually had a full double bed with a real mattress, not a sofa bed. So that was really nice to sleep on last night. So today we are heading out into Warsaw, and then we've got a train to Gdansk at like 2:30, 2:30 I think. So we're just gonna drop ourselves off at the station again, which we do at every city. But first we have to get down 4 flights of stairs because this is on the top floor, which is nice for the high ceilings, not so nice for lugging a 20-kilo suitcase down 4 flights of stairs. We have put our luggage in the locker, we have found the tram, we have bought the tickets, Mum's had a coffee. I think we're ready for another day in Warsaw. A 2-hour guided tour of Warsaw, which was really good. We stumbled upon it as we arrived into the main old town here, and we didn't even know what to expect, but she was really great. It was a free tour by donation, so you could pay what you thought the tour was worth, and we actually learned so much. You learn lots of the stories and the history that you might not know just by walking around and having a look at the place. So obviously tours are great for me to learn stuff, but I didn't get to share as much as I wanted to, so we're doing a quick little recap. We're going to run around Old Town and share what we learned. So first of all, we are here in the Royal Palace or Royal Castle of Warsaw. I'm not sure what it is. So when the capital of Poland moved from Krakow to Warsaw in 1596, King Sigismund, who was commuting a lot to Warsaw, he decided this was a better place because of its connection to Sweden, where his in-laws were from, and to Lithuania, where the Polish-Lithuanian government was based. So he moved it here, and then this was his residence. The palace originally was only as tall as the brick building, which you can sort of see over on this side here, and then Sigismund expanded and built lots of extra space around, which is why it looks so much bigger. The interesting fact about this is that Warsaw was actually 85% destroyed in World War II and in the Warsaw Uprising of *44. So the entire palace actually here is a complete reconstruction. It's less than 70 years old. However, there are some features and little parts that were used from the rubble to recreate the building. So if you have a look at the archway here, the entrance, you can see patches on the bricks. Those are actually patching up bullet holes from the uprising when it was destroyed. And oh, guess it's 12 o'clock. The patches cover up the bullet holes, and they actually are a really important part of the history because so much of this place was destroyed, and it's one of the few things that is original, and they've tried to sort of encapsulate the history. So that is the story of the Warsaw Castle. So we're standing just behind the Cathedral of Warsaw, which is where the king used to come and pray every single day. But here is the bell of Warsaw. Fun fact, it was never used because it was actually cracked during the creation process. But what's interesting about this place is that below us is the original cemetery of Warsaw, and you can kind of see how it may have looked. And because it was such a small cemetery and they had so many people to bury, it was actually an interesting place, and one of the few places I think maybe in the whole world, people are actually buried vertically here so that they take up less physical space, yet they still have a direct connection to God, because they used to be buried in layers and people complained that they didn't have the access to God that they needed when they laid their flowers. But the thing about this bell is the bell is actually buried right above, or the bell is placed right above the, we call the grave of the bell maker. And apparently legend goes is that because the bell maker has been reunited forevermore with his bell that he made, if you put your hand on top of the bell, your wishes will come true. So we're gonna make a wish. So this is the old market square of Warsaw. It is actually, you can't really tell on the camera, but it's really, really small. And that's because it was actually built 700 years ago when the city only had 1,000 residents. Today there's over 1 million residents, so obviously it's much more has grown around it, but the original size of the square has stayed the same. As with the rest of the city, much of this was bombed out during the war, so all the buildings you can see, even though they look very old and beautiful, are actually complete reconstructions, but they were specifically designed to be reconstructed in the way that they looked before, and not in the communist architecture that was the style at the time. Behind me you can see the mermaid, which is actually the symbol of Warsaw, which is kind of fun because obviously my last name is Meerman. We collect mermaids as a family, so this is kind of special to us, that the official symbol of Warsaw is the mermaid. And the legend of the mermaid is that she lives in the Vistula River, which runs alongside the city of Warsaw, and she protects the city. Mum said she didn't do such a good job of protecting the city, given that Warsaw and Poland has been invaded multiple times by multiple people. It's been razed to the ground many different times, but it's still a nice story to hear. And that is now the official symbol in the heart of the market square. So now we're sitting at the Barbican, which is the old city walls. Again, much of the city walls is reconstructed. It is brick that was brought in from around Poland, namely the German territory that Poland received after the war, to rebuild this. However, there are at the very bottom, some of the original bricks are still standing. Behind me is what's called the Barbican. It was the entrance to the city. It was only actually used one time, and that's when the Swedes invaded in the 17th century. And the funny thing about that is that the one time the Swedes invaded in the 17th century is when the king was with his military and parliamentary people down in Krakow on official business. So when he came back to the city, he was banging on the door to his own city, and the Swedes were inside in control. It took him over a year to get back in. So that is the military sort of entrance to this city. Okay, sorry for the whirlwind tour. We have a train to catch. So hope that gave you a little bit of an overview of the history of Warsaw. We learned so much on our tour. So obviously when you come to Warsaw, take the free tour. We're now riding the first escalator in Warsaw down to the tram station, which was actually a gift from Stalin. It was something that he gave after the war to impress the local people. People used to come here just to go for rides on the escalator. So that was in '49, so you can imagine how much of a big deal it was. I'm filming on my iPhone for this because we're running, because we found a vegan shop at one of the stations. Well, 2-minute walk, so we're running to the vegan shop to grab food, because we otherwise won't have food till 7 o'clock tonight because we're taking a 3-hour train to Gdansk. So we're on a mission because our train leaves in an hour and a half, and we still have to get to the station, which is a half-an-hour train ride, and then we still have to get our stuff. We're stressed. We made it to the train station. It was very stressful. We have never been this close. I mean, we still have 20 minutes until our train, but we usually come to the station like an hour early because we've got to get our luggage and stuff. And we made it, and we have vegan pierogies. And did you know, according to National Geographic, Warsaw is one of the top 8 vegan cities in the world, alongside like amazing places like Thailand and in India. And so apparently Warsaw is the place to be for vegan food. And Veggie Miasto, which is where we got these pierogies, is the #1 recommended vegan restaurant. So I think this is so deserved.
Can you just put half of one in your mouth at a time?
Worth it. Worth every stressful minute. we had to run because we were down the other end of the platform in the middle because we didn't know, because this has 20 carriages, the longest train we've been on, so we were at the middle of platform, or wagon 10, so we had to book it to platform to wagon 20. But we have a little compartment just like most every other Polish train we've been on, so hopefully it doesn't get too busy, and if it does we'll have to rearrange a little bit because actually this is my seat but I want to be at the window.